Well, welcome to July's questions and answer video. If you've got a question, please add it below the video. Now, if you've got a few questions, I will try and do it, but can we just keep it to one question at a time? Now, somebody did make a good suggestion the other day. Maybe I could do one question a week, which I thought was fantastic. But I might do that after the summer. At the moment, I've got a bit of a backlog in videos. But so anyway, look forward to that then. But I've got another great load of questions, and I've got to thank everybody for putting the questions in. Now just remember guys, I'm just an ordinary person. I've got no qualifications in being a estate agent, being a bank, buying property. I'm just an ordinary guy who's come out here. I've picked up things since I've been here as well. I'm just passing on the advice that I think might be helpful. The other thing is, if you're buying anything or you're going to be using money, always seek legal advice. Can't put that across. Sorry about the noise. I think it's those seconders. Yeah. And also, if you're buying a property, you've got to come and visit Spain, guys. Don't just think watching the video, that's it for you. You've got to come out here. Not just at the property itself, but the area it's in as well. You've got to come and visit. Anyway, other than that, hope you enjoy the vid. I'll catch you next time. Okay, question one by Harry Van. I'm not going to pronounce the rest of it. Harry's from Belgium. He's asked me 4 questions in one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for each one of them. Now, as for me, it's off the cuff. I haven't really looked at these questions properly, so just bear with me. So the first one he's asked is, I'm looking to emigrate to Spain. What are the first things I have to do? And I suppose that's quite a logical question, really. What's the first things you need to do? Well, I suppose really, obviously, do your research on the internet first, just to make sure it's the place that you want to go to. Check out the rules and regulations. Now, because Harry's from Belgium, then he's got no problem of coming to Spain because he's all part of the EU. So you haven't got that thing to worry about. I suppose the only thing I would worry about mainly is, can you afford to live here? I mean, if you can afford to live in Belgium, then I can't see why you can't afford to live here in Spain. So do your research on the internet. After the abundant rainfall a few weeks ago, houses have... Okay, so Harry's obviously seen the video from hell on Camposol, I should say. Let's carry on with this anyway. After the abundant rainfall of a few weeks ago, houses have fallen into disrepair in your region. Is this correct? No. I think you got to not take too much information off videos sometimes. Yes, or read the news. Sometimes the news reports do get a bit dramatic. We do get heavy rain here, and sometimes it rains 2 or 3 days. Now, obviously, when I did this, we're talking about a month ago. I presume we're talking really about Easter time when we did have a bit of a heavy rainfall. But no, nothing fell down. Nothing sunk away. So you're right there, Harry. Also informed that several building frauds have occurred in Spain. Several houses would have been built illegally without building permits. Is this correct? Well, I would like to say, Harry, that doesn't happen here. Well, I can safely say it does happen here. And if you're buying a property and it's a bargain, you've got to check it out properly. And what I'm on about is you seek legal advice. And another thing is, if you're buying it off an agent or a builder and they advise you to use their solicitor or lawyer, don't do it. If they tell you got to use their legal advice, then don't do it. Most of the estate agents that I know, especially around Camposol, they will say that to you, obviously because they want to use their, they get a bit of a income from it, but you can use independently. That is your choice. Also, informed that several building frauds have occurred in Spain. Several houses would have been built illegally without building permits. Is this correct? Well, depends on where you're on about, Harry, really. Sometimes when you answer a question, you have to be more direct. Are you talking about Camposol, or are you talking about other parts of Spain? I don't know. As far as I can, all I can tell you, Harry, is, like I've said before, if you use an estate agent and that estate agent says you can only use their legal lawyer, then don't use them. Most of the estate agents on Camposol will say you can use an independent lawyer. It's no odds to them. And if that's the case, if whoever has offered you whatever, if you don't feel happy with it, take a private lawyer's advice. They will check it out to make sure all the permits are in up to date. That's another thing, that when you're buying a property, always ask the agent, are all the permits up to date? Now, sometimes they're not, because obviously they put it on the market and maybe they think it's going to be a long time. But most people that put their property on the market will have all their permits up to date, because if they don't, it just takes longer to do, that's all. So remember that as well. As far as I know, there are some properties built on Camposol, we're talking about this, Harry, on D. There are some built in the riverbed. The one that's supposed to be built there, that seems to be being sorted out at the moment with the town hall and that. But yeah, always seek legal advice. Don't you pay no money until you know for sure that it's okay. Now, there are other parts in Spain where building goes on, and unfortunately I would love to say that it doesn't happen, but I've seen places where they put them up and they haven't got the permits. So yeah, always check. Get an independent lawyer, they'll look into it. I know it's going to cost you money, but at the end of the day, it's going to save you the hassle in the long run. This is why I always tell people, do your research first. If you jump straight into it, you're going to pay for it later on. Concerned about buying permanent residency, was it better to rent? That is entirely up to you, Harry. What I would advise, if you are thinking about moving to Spain, yeah, rent first. I think renting first is a great idea, but mainly because by renting you get to know the area as well, because you might love the house but you might not love the area. But if you already committed yourself, you're stuck there. But if you rent first, and most people that I meet to always rented first. I rented first, rent first, check out the place, and you have no problems. But some people do rent. The price of renting is quite reasonable in some places. Now, if you went to Madrid or Barcelona, a place like that, you'd be paying $1,000 a month. But places around where Camposol are and that, I don't really check out the renting side myself. You could probably get a place between 300 to 500. I don't know. It depends what you want, really. So hopefully, Harry, that's answered all your questions. Now, like I said before, let's try and keep it at one, guys. That was a long question, but I wanted to get it out of the way. Question 2 by Angel. Do villas on A and B go up for sale very often? Most that I've seen seem to be on C and D. I would prefer to be on A and B within walking distance of shops, but not too near the bars. That could be noisy on times. Okay, good question that. I would say yes and no. I think what you find is that the properties on A and B, because they're near the shops, they're going to be a little bit more expensive, whereas the ones on C and D, well, especially D, to be honest, D is the largest of all the sectors, so that's probably why you're seeing a lot more on D anyway. But they do come up, and even on A and B, there are some really reasonable properties. You just got to keep looking. Living near the bars, well, I live right opposite the bars, and I think the reason why we bought our place, because it had been on the market for quite a while, because people were worried about the noise. But don't forget, in Spain there's like a noise curfew. After midnight it's supposed to be quiet, and you'll find most of the bars will pack up and finish. Now, this doesn't happen all over Spain, obviously. This does refer to, obviously, the local council, because I know in some places, obviously, it does go, especially like Benidorm, it goes all through the night, doesn't it? But yeah, usually, I mean, on a Saturday, Sunday, sometimes in the afternoon, there is a bit of noise. But believe it or not, at the moment, because we just had a new election for a new party to come in, the bars and the restaurants haven't been given permits yet to put their music outside. So at the moment, all the music that's going on at the moment on Camposol is inside the buildings, which is a bit of a pain, I suppose, for the bars, because that's how they make their money during the summer months. But at the moment, because obviously they're waiting for whoever takes over to issue the permits. So in one sense, Angel, it's really quiet. To be quite honest, I quite enjoy it. Sometimes the people that you're getting to sing are really good. And for me, I can listen to it for nothing. But obviously if you go to the bar, you have to pay it. You don't pay a lot, but yeah, I understand what you're getting at. And like I said before, you need to come here and rent, and then you'll find out. Because obviously, I know people that on D, they like the peace and quiet, but obviously on B and A, you probably can hear the music sometimes. That's up to you. I mean, to me, it doesn't really bother me, but I know it obviously bothers other people. Right, so hopefully that's solved your question. Probably hasn't, because you're wondering why there's not so many properties up for sale on A and B. But like I said before, D is the largest sector, so there are always going to be a huge amount of properties. Number 3 by Colin. If you can't afford a property with a pool, would a roof solarium withstand the weight of a jacuzzi? Good question that, Colin, and what I'm going to do before I put this video out, I'm going to ask on the forums if anybody's got a jacuzzi up on the roof, because I don't know anybody that has, but it'd be interesting to know. I don't think I would be happy about putting it up on the roof. I wouldn't know. I mean, the people I've seen on the forums that said, yeah, they're built really sturdy, but it's a lot of weight up there, and you would obviously need to get in a structural surveyor to give you that report. But what I'm going to do, well, I made this Colin in June, so I'm going to put up the thing. So if I don't put up any photographs, then you know I couldn't find anybody who's actually got a jacuzzi up there. Now, it's a good question, because when I first arrived in Spain, in this area, looking at properties, we fell in love with a place that had a pool. We missed that place. So when we was looking again, I thought, do we really need a pool? And I was looking at jacuzzis and hot tubs. And because I got a problem with my leg, I just couldn't see how the hell you get in and out of it. You know, unless you're an athlete, yeah, no problem. And the other major thing that you need to look at, because it needs to be a big jacuzzi. It's no point getting a small one. You've got to clean it as well. Cleaning a pool is bad enough, but cleaning one of those is I would imagine just as bad. Now I haven't got one, so maybe anybody out there that's got a jacuzzi, they could beg to tell me different. But as far as I know, I don't know if it could withstand the weight. I wouldn't like to say yes or no, but hopefully if I put some photographs up, that will put your mind at rest. If I don't, then yeah, I wouldn't contemplate it, you know. When you're looking at properties, you've got to look at probably 10 to 15, maybe even 20 grand to put a pool in. If the place has got a pool like ours did, then that's a bonus. Because I know a lot of people, they buy a property, it's got a big piece of land around the garden, and then they have to pay out a huge expense to put the pool in. So yeah, good thinking. Hope that's answered your question, Colin. Colin again. What are the benefits of becoming a Spanish resident? Is it advisable, or do you have to? I don't mind either. It's just be one less to sort out. Another good question, Colin. And I suppose a lot of people will say, well, of course you've got to be a resident, because if you live in Spain for more than 3 months, you can't stay here. you have to be a resident. Now, when we first arrived in Spain, I'll try and put in my videos that I do anyway, that each province deals with things differently. Now, the rule is, at the moment, obviously the BritX thing doesn't help. As far as I know, if you're living in more than 3 months at a time in Spain, then yeah, you got to be a resident. Now, when we first come over, I asked my solicitor the same question: what's the benefits? And of course, don't forget, this is before the BritX come along, and he said, to be honest, nothing. You don't benefit being a non-resident or resident. That's up to you. That's your choice. So before the BritX, we was quite happy being a non-resident. Now, we was just, you know, taking advice. But ever since the BritX kicked in last year, we thought, you know, with the way things were going, we thought, well, they're going to do it in March and we're going to have to get it sorted out. There's going to be a mass panic. So last year we got our residency. Yeah, and I'm not going to go through all the rules and that. Now, if you look to my last answers to questions, there's a guy there that put a comment below, and he put down the main things that you need to be a resident. It does differ from each province. It's so hard to try and explain that, but yeah, we had to become a resident. Simple as that. Is there any benefits? To us, it has been, because my wife is self-employed and she works, so we're on the state system, and because she's not earning not enough money really, we didn't have to pay any resident tax. Now, as a non-resident, you have to pay non-resident tax. So yeah, a bit complicated. If you're thinking about living here permanently, you need to be a resident, end of the day. And especially with the BritX, you know, you're going to have to be a resident. The other thing is, being a resident, I mean, the other thing that comes in with that is your driving licence. Now, if you're going to live here, and especially with the BritX, it's caused so many problems really. You're going to have to change your driving licence. Now, in the next 2 or 3 years' time, whatever happens on the decision of BritX, if you have to get your Spanish driving licence, the rumours going around at the moment, and there's loads of rumours, that you're going to have to take a test. Well, we've already, because we're residents, you have to go through the whole process. You have to have a padron, a resident, and then you can go and do your driving licence. You have a medical, and you have some awareness test, and that's it. But there are saying 2 or 3 years' time, you might have to take an actual Spanish test, which will be in Spanish. So just be aware of that. But you know, it's a rumour. That's all I can say on that. But yeah, you're going to have to be a resident. Colin. Pain, isn't it? So we've got number 5 by Andy Webb. I know you love being on Camposol, but if Camposol didn't exist, where else would you like to have settled? Good question, that, Andy. One that I did have a good think about, because when I first started looking in Spain, obviously my parents lived down near Malaga way, and we was looking in that area. And that was a long time ago, and we was actually looking at mobile homes then, because at that period we didn't think we could afford to buy a villa at all. I mean, a decent villa. So we were looking at mobile homes, and we found a site. I can't even remember the place. It was right out in the middle of nowhere. Thankfully, we didn't do that in the end, because one, the guy that was doing it was on the fiddle, and it never existed in the first place, which was a big scam. And then we come and hired a camper van and went down the east coast, and we stopped off a place just outside of Valencia. Lovely area. If I had the money, that could have been a place up around Valencia. I come across, I'm going to put a photograph up of this place. I mean, I couldn't have bought it anyway. It was obviously it was another urbanisation that had been abandoned, but it was a lovely big house with a pool out in the back. It was 3 stories with a lift, and I thought, wow, that would have been ideal. But yet again, I couldn't have got it, because 1, it was abandoned, and 2, no doubt it would have a huge debt on it. Another place that I sort of fell in love with, or did I? See, Andy, I did pick another place, but I just knew I couldn't afford it. Oh yeah, that's it. Back down. We're going back down towards the Costa del Sol, a place called Mias, not far from Torres in that area. It's a lovely, typical tourist village on a hillside. Fantastic view, looking out over the sea. Okay, so that maybe the village would have been really expensive. It was a really touristy area, and I probably wouldn't have liked it in the end because I know the traffic's horrendous around that area. But if there's people living there, it's an amazing place. If I had the money, maybe I would have gone there. But I'll be honest, I can't put it across enough. To me, Camposol has got everything that I want. You know, I don't even think personally that we even need to move once we even get older, but we might do. But at the moment, I'm really happy where I am. But anyway, good question, Andy. One that I had to really think about. Question 6 by Andy Grant. Hi, what swimming pool maintenance is like over there? Do you use a professional, and is it expensive? Just thinking about doing a business idea. Andy, there's loads of pool cleaners here. And I think the price where we are on Camposol, and obviously it all depends on the size of your pool, but they start from 40 euros a month up to 80 euros a month. Now these guys tend to come once a week. In the summer they probably come every other couple of days because obviously with the heat it affects the pool. So yeah, the maintenance will differ from wherever you go. I wouldn't have an idea if we're talking about one of the golf resorts. Maybe they probably charge a lot more, but on Camposol it is between 40 to 80 euros a month, which I suppose if you've got, you know, quite a few pools to clean, that's a nice bit of money. So yeah, you would need to do your research on that. But on Camposol there's already fully established professionals, as I call them, that go around as a team doing the pools, and obviously there are one-man bands that do it as well. I suppose it all depends on the price, you know. My wife my wife does all the cleaning of the pool. We buy our own stuff. Now some of the stuff can be expensive. We're probably talking about these containers can be from 20 to 30 euros a litre sort of thing. I'll be honest, Andy, I'm not too sure on the costs of doing it yourself, but obviously it's cheaper to do it yourself than call somebody in, and if the wife can cope with it, she uses the pool more than me, then I'm quite happy for it to continue. But yeah, if you're thinking about doing it as a business idea, you need to do your research on an area that you're looking at. If it's big Camposol, you know, like I said, on Camposol, as far as I'm concerned, there's loads of pool cleaners about. It's just the same as people that are cleaning villas and that. So it's a possibility, but yeah, you need to come over and have a look yourself, and maybe contact some of these companies that are already doing it. So I hope that's answered your question, Andy. Number 7, Richard King, could you mention the estate agents? Richard, funny enough, I am going to put up a video on that because I think it's quite useful, because when I search on the internet for estate agents on Camposol, you do get most of them, but you don't get all of them, and you do obviously get a couple that actually haven't got any shops on Camposol. I think it's most important that you do have shops on Camposol, because then you can go in there and have a chat with somebody who knows what they're on about. It's not worth getting somebody, say, from Mazarron or Murcia. They've got some idea, but it's better to get somebody actually on site that knows what's going on around you, because we're not just talking about the property, are we? We're talking about setting up an NIE, your bank account. These people can sort you out, and especially if you're thinking about coming over, bringing your kids with you and that. they can give you a lot more information, whereas somebody out of Camposol is not going to give you that information. What I can say is there are 6. Offer me a head, let's do it. So we got Los de Sol, we've got to buy, to let, to sell. I think I got that right, Dave. We've got Villa Quest, we've got Camposol property sales, we've got Mercer's, and we've got Other World Properties. I think I've covered them all. But like I said, I'm going to bring out a video on estate agents on Camposol in more detail. So thanks for that, Richard. Number 8 by Fergus Macduff the Westie. I love that name. Is the crime rate high here? For insurance companies require that before they will insure you. Okay, good question. Crime is no different wherever you go, and to be honest, the insurance companies are quite happy to insure you. I don't think they got any. The only issues that they have, and that's wherever you go in Spain, unless you're on a golf resort where they obviously got a security ring around it, and you're paying for that, obviously. Like Camposol is actually open. What they do specify usually, mainly is readers, bars on your doors and on your windows. Now on our property we haven't got readers all around because our property in some places is really high, and they were quite satisfied that we didn't need readers there. But they will still insure you. As far as I know, I don't know anybody that's been rejected because of crime, I suppose. It's like anything else, you pay for what you get. So no problem there, Fergus. Number 9 by Lynn Gattis. I hope I got that name right, Lynn. What good campsites are around the area in the winter months that are near the coast, as we only have bikes to travel on? There are 3 campsites that I know of that I class as proper campsites. Now there are other sites along the coast, but I wouldn't have thought you could sleep in the tent. And what I'm on about is wild campers. These are people that turn up in a van or camper van, and they actually got proper sites now where they can all keep together. They're trying to clamp down on wild campers now, pushy along this coast now. They're trying to keep them in areas, but I've never actually seen anybody in a tent. But the campsites that I know of, what I'm going to do, hopefully, Lynn, you can see what's below the video. I'm going to put some links there of the 3 campsites that I know. Now I only been in one of the campsites, and I'll be honest, because it was full of caravans and camper vans, I didn't actually see any tents in there, but it's classed as a campsite. So hopefully with the link to their websites they'll give you more information. Now I know that the Bolnevo one, they actually got tents fully kitted out, so you don't bring your own tent, you just turn up and there's a tent there. But what I will tell you straight away, these campsites during the winter, I was amazed. I was expecting to turn up at the campsite, like they were fully packed out. The Bolnevo we couldn't even get into. So obviously you've got to book these well in advance, because obviously a lot of people down from Northern Europe come down in the winter months to stay down there to enjoy their sort of holidays. So yeah, you got to really book in advance. So what I'm going to do, Lynn, I'll put the links below the video. Let me know if you can't see them, because I know sometimes some people can't see them depending on what they're watching the video on, be it a telly or a device. But I'll put the links below. There are 3 places along Mazarron, actually right on the coast. So good luck. That's all the questions done then for this month. Hope you enjoyed them. I probably can't answer everything to probably what you want really, but hopefully it gives you some idea. And as I said before, if you've got any questions, please add them below the video. Try and keep it to 1, guys. My very first question, he had about 5 in 1 question, and it takes up a bit of time just to do that 1 question, so it gives other people a chance. So if you've got a question, please put it below. Don't forget, I'm just an ordinary guy. I've got no qualifications on if you're asking about solicitors or banking, or you got some dispute or whatever. I can only give you what I pick up and information that I pick up, so it gives you an idea. As I always say, keep watching, because you don't know what I'm going to bring out next, but hopefully I'll bring out another questions and answers for August. Happy holidays, and I'll catch you on the next lot.